Welcome to this video which looks at request for quotation, RFQs. RFQs are a privilege of the system, so you have to make sure that your consortium has this switched on to allow you to do this at your institution. You can also switch it off at institution level to only allow certain people within your institution the ability to be able to do RFQs. So to begin an RFQ, you must log in first, so we'll put in our username and password and then press login. Okay, so you're greeted with your familiar screen. The first thing you'll want to do is to find the agreement that you would like to do your RFQ on. So I'm going to go and just find a test agreement that we can do that on. We'll use this one here. Okay, so first of all we can see down here that request for quote is green. If it's not possible to get an RFQ on this particular agreement, that'll be orange, and when you click on it, it will tell you a reason why it's not possible for you to do an RFQ on here. So I'm going to press the RFQ, and this takes me into the screen ready for me to create my RFQ. So at the beginning of the screen up here, it's got all the details from the agreement that we're working from, and I can then give this an RFQ name. So it's first of all, it's taken the agreement name, and I can either add to that or I can put something brand new. So I'm going to put something brand new in. Then I go down and I'm going to choose a close date and time for my RFQ. This is really important. Once you've set this, you can't edit it, and you will have to wait until this is complete before you can look at any of the responses. When you click in, it gives you a date picker where you can go in there and you can say, yes, I want this to finish on the 31st of July. And then you've got a little clock at the bottom here where you can set the particular time you would like to do this for. So we'll say that at 8 PM we want this to close. You can use the minutes as well if you wanted to. And then we get to put in the description of what the RFQ is going to be. So this is where you can put in the exact text that you would like to put in to give to your suppliers, to give them all the information they're going to need in order to be able to respond to you. So I've just put test in there, but you would normally put in a lot more information. Then you can choose to add up to 3 attachments if you wish. You don't have to, but obviously this can be quite useful if you've got some specification documents. So you just click on add attachment. It will ask you what the document name is, so we can call this specification, and then in upload file we'll just browse, find the file that we want to do, and then do add attachment. And you can see now that's added that in our list of attachments, and we can either delete that one, we can do update, which allows us to replace that with something else, or we can add a new one. So we're going to add a new one as well, and we'll say we want them to do it in the form of a pricing grid when they respond. So I'll put in a spreadsheet and add that attachment on as well. So now in the list it's showing that we've got 2 attachments that's going to go with this one. We can scroll down now and we'll see the suppliers that are available on this particular agreement. So there's 2 that have automatically ticked themselves, and you can also add in your own contacts. Maybe you have a local contact that you deal with and you want to make sure that he gets the RFQ as well. So you can literally type in that extra email address and do add new field. So that's now going to send it to all 3 of these suppliers. Should you not feel that one of these is able to respond to it, you can just untick it and it will only send it to the one that's ticked and the ones that you've added in here. And you can see you've got an empty box now to type in another local contact if you wanted to, and you can literally just keep going with those. So at this point you can either save the RFQ if you're still looking to do some work on it, or you can preview before you send that out. So we'll press preview, and this is showing you on here exactly what the suppliers will see in their email when it comes out to them. So it gives it a name, the end date, the text we've typed in, which like I said before would normally be much longer, and the 2 attachments that we've got. If there's something wrong there, you can go back to RFQ and you can edit those details, or you can seal and send it. So we'll seal and send ours. So that's done for us. And it's now locked this down, so it's now sealed until the end date of 8:05 on the 31st of July, and that's when we'll then be able to go into the system. So this is exactly what the supplier will see when they get their email come through. The email will come from an administrator at HE Contracts, so it doesn't show the individual that has actually created this RFQ because they're not allowed to talk to you directly about it. You can see in here we've got all the details of the RFQ that you've put in. Obviously mine didn't have very much text in it at all, but it would show all that text, as well as the files that we've added, that they can just double click to open those. And when they're ready to submit, they can click on the link in their email, and that will then take them into the system without the need to log in. And it gives all the details of exactly what our requirement was. They have the choice then. They can either ask for clarification, so they can click on this button here, and then they can type in whatever their message is in this big box here, whatever they'd like to clarify, and then press the send button. That allows them to send a message to you, and then you can respond to that, and it will respond to all suppliers when that comes through. So we'll do a test clarification message just so that you can see how that comes through. But in the meantime, I'll show you how they complete the rest of their RFQ. So if we scroll down on this form and we're ignoring the send a clarification message that's all now been received, down here is when they can put their message in that they would like to send with their response to your RFQ. So this is their final answer of what they would like to quote for. So they can type in their message. That can be as long as they like. They can then upload up to 3 documents if they want to. So again, we'll just put a dummy document in there. So they could do up to 3, and it will ask them to complete their contact details and then press the send button. So we'll just put in some dummy text to allow us to go through and show this for you. That's it. It's thanked them that your submission has been sent, and that's the end of this RFQ for that particular supplier. So I've now logged us back into the system, and what you can do to control all of your RFQs is go into My RFQs on your dashboard. So in there we can see that we've got our computer suppliers RFQ is sealed until the 31st of July, and that it was created on there as well. Now we can show it, and that will allow us to see any information that's in there, but it won't allow us to see any responses until the seal date has ended. Now we can see here's that clarification message. You will have also received an email. As the person that created this RFQ, as soon as you get somebody sending a clarification message from one of the suppliers, you'll get an email to tell you that you've got one to go in and have a look at. So we can go into here. We can see his message would show underneath here as long as he typed it in. We can then go into response, and again his message would be there at the top in full. You can then respond here in full and hit save, and that would send it out to everybody on that RFQ to give them the same information to all suppliers that you're looking to respond to this one. So now that our RFQ has completed, we can now go on the dashboard to My RFQs, and we can see now that it's showing as finished. And now it's finished, it's no longer sealed. We can click on the show button, and that now lets us see all the details of who's responded. So on this one we only had one person complete, which shows us there this is what the message they sent, who it was from. We can click on the show button, and this will give us all the details of what they've submitted. So their complete message, we can download the attachments they've given to us, and we can see all their contact details at the bottom of the screen. And that's literally it. That's how the RFQ system works. And if I did have more people on this particular RFQ, I can go back to using the breadcrumb trail here to my RFQ, and I'd be able to click on the next person's entry in the list here, which would show underneath, and I'd be able to view their details and download their documents too.